What is up, Wiggler Army? Check it out. So, a couple of you guys have been hitting me up about ways to rig live bait. Captain Wiggler, Richard Wiggler's Bait Co. here to help you out with a couple of different ways to get on some fish. Now, a lot of guys use the Carolina rig as a go-to. Nothing wrong with it, especially if you're fishing from the bank. The chunk it and weight, that's cool. Now, we're going to show you a couple of different renditions of that today that will get you on some fish from the boat and from the bank. 1, the slip float rig. 2, the free roaming float rig. Let's begin. Bank fisherman, Carolina rig, your go-to. Let's have a look. This is a snap swivel. This is a chartreuse bead. That is a rubber bumper stop. You can get them in poly as well, depending on where you get them. Now, traditional Carolina rig is the other way. The bumper stop goes here to stop and protect the knot from the impact. Then this bead stops the egg sinker. We're switching it up. This is my version of the slip float rig. Now, I install the bead as a stopper with a loop. Simply take one line, this is your main line. Take one end, loop it through the bead. Take the other end, loop it back on itself. What that allows you to do is slide this bead up and down. See that? That allows this bumper to go down here, right next to the swivel. Then I install a snap swivel freely on the bead to catch it. The impact is absorbed by this rubber. This allows you to change this weight out given the current and the situation that you're facing when you're fishing. 2 different ways to rig it. You can get the no swivel, pyramid or ball weights, or you can get the ones with the swivel installed. Both have their place. When I'm fishing fast current, I'm already running a swivel here, so I want to eliminate that spin. I use these. You can use pyramids, like I said, or balls, like balls, cannonball sinkers. Moving up the rig, there's another bead. This bead serves 2 purposes. When you're casting, your weight can only go between the bead and the bumper here, okay? Just like that, which is good because for finesse, you want to be able to make that rod tip go exactly where you want this to go. The proximity of that weight to that swivel means no tangle on your leader, okay? We'll get to the leader here in a second. Now, moving back up to this bead. This bead serves 2 purposes. It stops the weight, and it also serves as the bottom stop for your inline slip sinker. Well, slip float, excuse me. Your slip float. Late day at the farm. Now, this slip float will, when you read the instructions, this is just a chintzy one to give you an example. There are several companies that make different versions of these. We'll get into that. I'm carrying a couple from Black Warrior Lures, coming soon to the Anglers, Helping Anglers page, www.wigglerarmy.com. I digress. This inline float, when you read the instructions, you never want to overweight it. You want to make sure that whatever weight you snap onto this swivel makes this sit straight up in the water. Now, bank fishermen, this is awesome because you can adjust how far that float allows the bottom of your rig to suspend in the water column. This is cool for when you're trying to find fish with different casts, different heights of the water column when you're working the structure from the bank. Boat anglers, this is awesome because all you have to do is adjust these 2 beads, because there's a one above it to stop it as well. By sliding these beads, you can adjust where this float sits in the water column, thus putting your bait right where the fish are. This is the slip float rig. Now, similar concept for me, my version of this next rig, also known as the free roaming float rig, introduces another bead, but you're gonna ditch the inline float. Okay? So, going backwards, you have a nice neat package. That's how that's gonna look. If you want to be OCD with your rig or super symmetrical, you can put two bumpers betwixt, yes, that's a southern term, betwixt these two beads as such, so that there's no give if you're OCD like that. Now, this next rig, the free roaming rig, introduces one more snap swivel and two more beads. This rig is awesome. So now I'm going to show you how this works. Insert your lead through the bead and then back through the bead after it goes through, creating a loop across the bead as such. Then you're going to insert a snap swivel into the mix. Bam, she's in there. Then add another bead. Same fashion, loop it through itself. Coming out. Bam, coming out the top. Now, this is your main line, okay? That there is your weight. This is where your leader lives. This is how you adjust this awesome float. This float is handmade by Black Warrior Lures out of the South. I'm proud to announce another collaboration with an angler-made company. This allows you to mount to a swivel this inline float. This float serves as a marker for your bait. Simply snap it on, and now in the water column, your leader goes here. You have your weight dropping below. Now in line, this float will sit up top, and you'll be able to read this tip. And we have an attachment that works for these to allow you to have a glow stick in this part of the float for night fishing applications. But what this allows you to do is quickly change the depth at which your rig is being presented to the fish with live bait. Now, let's talk tackle for a second. Anglers, know your knots. The surgeon's end loop knot. Two ends. Take your piece of leader, 24 inches. You're going to want to make two of those, okay? One of them is going to snap onto this snap swivel at the end of your rig. The other one is for a quick change. What do I mean by quick change? When you're changing your rig out, if you want to go to bigger or smaller hooks, before you would have to cut your leader. With surgeon's end loop knots, simply take the loop, push it through the hook eye. You can twist it on itself to make it easier. I like to twist it a few times to get that eye a little bit tighter so it'll go through. Put that bad boy through the eye. Once that loop is through the eye of the hook, always go through the front of the shank. You're going to bring that loop back around the hook. And now the hook is attached. To uninstall this hook to swap it out. Say you want a bigger hook, smaller hook, change the type of hook. I always use offset circles. We'll talk about that in a second. You just open that loop again, pull that loop over the hook, just like that. And out she goes. The other end snaps into your swivel. This part is static. That stays there. The other part you can change. Now, let's talk about this hook. This is a hook by a company called Bait Saver, another angler-made company. These are offset circle hooks. What's awesome about these is what they have, this bail snaps around the hook shank, protecting your bait just like this. So, cat fishermen, if you're using chunk bait, like chicken livers, not cat livers, that's gross, chicken livers, or if you're using a live bait that was once live, chunk bait, you would put this in here, slide this down the shank, and it locks these two tines around the hook shank, keeping your bait secure, just like that. You can cast farther. The bait stays along for the ride. I've tested it. Okay, so these two rigs paired with a couple of different upgraded pieces of tackle will get you on some fish. This is my version of the free roaming float rig. This is how I fish when we're fishing from the yak at the bank or on a boat. Super versatile, super clean, and as always, hit me up in the comments section if you have any questions, and I hope to see you on some fish. Always looking to help anglers get out there. Richard Wiggler's Bait Co. here, WigglerArmy.com. I'm Captain Wiggler, signing off. Peace.